Hello everyone, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to the second session for the second day of the UNS Fintech Summer Course 2020. This event is hosted by International Office of Universitas 11 Maret in collaboration with the Center for Fintech and Banking, UNS Fintech Center, and the Faculty of Economics and Business, FEB UNS. My name is Aulia and I will be your moderator for this session. So uh, shortly we will start uh, the next session, the second session. In this session, we will learn about fintech collaboration and application in commerce industry. This session will be delivered by Mrs. Anissa Jumaniar.
Hello.
From Shopee Indonesia. Hello, Mrs. Anissa. Thank you for joining us today.
Yeah.
So before we start, I would like to remind you to turn on your camera and change your name into the following format. Student ID _ your name. So also please remember that you will have to fill the attendance list at the end of session. During the question and answer session, if you have any question, you can ask directly to the instructor, or you can send your question through the Zoom chat box to me or to the other committee. We will read your question to the instructor. Now let's meet our instructor for this session, Mrs. Jumaniar. She is a business intelligence or consumer researcher at Shopee Indonesia, previously working as a senior researcher executive at Kantar Indonesia. She holds a bachelor degree from Universitas 11 Maret, majoring in development economics. So to Mrs. Jumaniar, you have 45 minutes to deliver your material, and we will have a question and answer session later on. So Mrs. Jumaniar, time is yours.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Thank you, Aulia, for the introduction. I think I'll now share my screen. Let me... Okay. Can everyone see it? Okay.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. I'd like to say thank you for the committee for inviting me, and also for all the participants who already spent your time to hear about this session. I feel humbled and honored at the same time. So yeah, I was invited to deliver a session about economics. I think a little bit about me, myself. It was already previously mentioned by Olia also. I'm currently work as actually as a consumer researcher at Shopee Indonesia, but the consumer researcher division is under business intelligence team. I previously worked as a consumer researcher at Kantar Indonesia and UNS Indonesia. So my expertise is actually at the intersection of data and human or consumers. So in my current role, I help Shopee as one of the leading e-commerce company in Indonesia to help understand our consumers and our non-consumers, so that like things like what do actually people like about our platform, what do people actually don't like about our platform, how can we improve, those kind of questions is actually my daily job to help companies understand about consumers. Okay, if you want to connect more about me, you can search my LinkedIn and my Instagram, or maybe later you can email me if you have any personal questions. Okay, so before I start, I think I want to state that all information stated in the presentations is publicly available, and none of the Shopee's internal data is used in these presentations. All sources are written down in each slides. And now first, I would like to start it with a short quiz. This one. Has Shaiful can share the poll, Zoom poll? I want to see how many of you knows who is the richest person on earth right now. There are 260 people attending right now, yeah. Still half of it filling. Okay, I'll wait until at least 90% of it filling the poll. %68% who still not fill the poll.
Dear student, please fill the poll.
%75%. Come on, at least 90% lah. Not moving that much. Okay, I think we can just stop here. It's okay, fine. So yeah, 78% of you have answered. And the first responses is Jeff Bezos, 49% of you answer it. The second comes Bill Gates. The third one is Bernard Arnault, Elon Musk, and Mackenzie Scott. Okay, now I'll share the result. Yeah, 49% of you guess it right. It's Jeff Bezos. He currently owns Amazon. The second richest person on earth is Bill Gates, who owns Microsoft. The third one, Bernard Arnault, who owns LVMH, Louis Vuitton. So every time you go to the mall and feel like you want to buy something luxury, it means you share your money to Bernard Arnault. So next is, I think I can close this poll. Yeah, okay. Next one is Mackenzie Scott. So Mackenzie Scott is actually ex-wife of Jeff Bezos. The moral of the story here is if you want to be rich, marry the rich. no, not that kind of thing. So yeah, Mackenzie Scott is the ex-wife of Jeff Bezos, and since their separation last year, if I'm not mistaken, so she got some percentage of Bezos wealth. The last one is Elon Musk, who owns Tesla or SpaceX. Okay. Next stuff is the more serious stuff. I want to talk in brief about economics in general. So economics is about a knowledge that talks about how to manage household or to manage companies, or the most important, the most often thing that I always hear since I was in high school is that economics is about how to make the most out of scarcity, out of the resource that is scarce, right? And talking about economics, we cannot separate it from the actor itself, which is the people, right? And so now, if you notice, in recent years, the talk about economics is not only talking about the numbers, but also the people, because maybe some of you have noticed the Daniel Kahneman, Richard Taylor, who also wins the Nobel Prize in Economics, they now touch the sides of the human side of the economics. So it's getting more interesting. And the understanding about economics, about humans, is also being applied to I'd say to e-commerce industry or every industry in general, because it means when we understand the human, it means we also understand how humans make decisions. And it is important part of and how to make the industry bigger. Okay, so we talk about the economics, we talk about resource allocations, It also have relations to productions, distributions, consumptions of products and services, both individual and or collectively. When we talk about the market, it means we touch side of the economics. When we travel back time to several years ago, where our market still considered as conventional, we can imagine that there are sellers, there are buyers. They meet in a market. They meet physically. There is direct physical contact. For example, me, I'm being a buyer, and Aulia being a seller. I pick the stuffs, I make the payment, I bring the stuffs home. That's how conventional market or traditional market is. For example, if you want to look for a decent batik, you go to Pasar Klewer in Solo. So you can pick your batik and you make payment to them, right? So it's the key thing is there is a direct physical contact in traditional or conventional market. But now as the time evolves, so does the market evolves. People do not always need to meet face to face to make the trade. So yeah, all of the previous long process, I need to go to a market first or to the supermarket to buy things that I need, now can be done only through scrolling your phone. So yeah, I take my phone, I type search on, for example, I want to buy shoes or sneakers. I want to buy sneakers. I type in the sneakers, and then from there I can filter the products that I need. I can filter even by the closest seller locations I can find. I click the product. I read the descriptions. I read the reviews, and then if I like it, I just click, and I'll be directed to a payment section, and then I pay. Then I just need for the stickers to be sent to my home or to my office, right? So e-commerce itself is actually a very big ecosystem. E-commerce can the type of e-commerce is including B2B or B2C, C2C or C2B. While for the in Indonesia, maybe 10 years ago, if you ever heard about Kaskus, it was actually like a mailing list, but now back at that time, there's also selling products through FJB, if you know, forum jual beli, selling forum. And now from there, I think the e-commerce landscape in Indonesia is takes place. And now it's not. I personally think it's not even in its peak time. So the room for growth for e-commerce industry is still very big. So does the financial system. So does the financial technology within the e-commerce ecosystem. Right. So I buy. I'm as a buyer. I am being facilitated by the e-commerce, in which behind all this e-commerce is there are internet servers. There are so many people that serving you. So many people that making sure that things don't go wrong in order to make you have a good experience. So yeah, the difference between conventional and traditional market is that in the buyers and sellers, right? And according to a report by Google, Temasek, and Bain and Company, Southeast Asia's internet economy currently hits $100 billion in 2019, and it's expected to grow threefold by 200 billion by 2025. The ASEAN internet economy here is defined as the ASEAN 6, Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, Singapore, Thailand, and Vietnam. The internet economies in Malaysia, Thailand, Singapore, and the Philippines are growing between 20 to 30% annually, while in Indonesia and Vietnam, the internet economy are growing by 40% annually. When I made this deck, now I wonder how big is actually 100 billion and 300 billion. So I look one data that is very universal, which is GDP, and then I try to factor it. 100 billion is about 3.3% of ASEAN 6 GDP in 2019. When we talk about the 5 years later, it is predicted that the internet economy will hit to 300 billion US dollar. And if we take into account our current GDP in 2019, it will be about 9.9% of ASEAN 6 GDP. So it shows the magnitude of how big is the e-commerce industry and how the potential it still has in the near future. I previously intentionally asked who is the richest person on earth in the planet, who is the richest person on earth, just to emphasize the magnitude of this industry, because Bezos, as you already know, he owns Amazon, and now he is the richest person on earth, even beating Bill Gates, who are actually owns Microsoft, and like everybody use Microsoft, who's not using it, and beating him, and now is the richest man on earth. Okay. I'm now talking about e-commerce transaction value in Indonesia. According to data from Bank of Indonesia, in 2017, there are only 80 trillion rupiah transaction value in Indonesia, but it keeps increasing over the time. Only in 2 years, from the transaction value is from 80 trillion to 265 trillion. So it's like threefold of the growth, only in 2 years. This is from Big 14 marketplaces in Indonesia. And if we see the data from 2020, on the right side, the transaction value of Big 4 marketplaces in Indonesia, only in May, it already in 20 trillion rupiah. And in June, it adds about 4 trillion rupiah only in 1 month. Because really shifting the digital transformation, like I've read some reports, some articles that this type of growth in the digital economy is usually achieved in the span of 5 years, but now it is achieved in only 1 year. One of it because of the impact of coronavirus, because it means you cannot go anywhere, even if you want to buy something. So one of the certain thing that you can do is that you take your phone, you download some e-commerce app, and you buy things that you want from it. So that is one thing that catapulted this e-commerce industry, as well as the financial technology that later I will talk about it. Okay, again, quiz time. I want you to guess which e-commerce that is used most often in Indonesia during Ramadan. Maybe Shaiful can share the poll, Zoom poll. Most often used e-commerce in Indonesia during Ramadan. Anyone already clicking?
Yes, Mrs. We have 60% off.
50%. Oh, because I cannot see it on my screen. I can see only the, let me see. Yeah, I cannot see the result, but it's okay. Maybe Aulia can read it later.
Yeah.
If it's already
right now
reached,
there are 73%.
73%. I think if it's already 85%, 80 or 85, then we can close it.
Okay.
Let's guess. Sometimes people not confuse, guessing between two big names. Let's see your guess this time is correct or not.
Right now it is 78%.
78%. Let's wait for 2 more percent then.
Okay, it is now 81%. Should we stop it?
Yeah, just stop it. So who's the winner? Shopee. So yeah, you guys guess it correct. the most often used e-commerce in Indonesia during Ramadan is Shopee. And also Tokopedia comes as the second. Yes, correct. The third one is Lazada, and the last one is Bukalapak. You can see the percentage. Shopee, 66% of users use Shopee, followed by Tokopedia, 15%, Lazada 12%, and Bukalapak 5%. This is actually publicly available data that you can search. Just last Ramadan, I actually work on some of the projects that tries to understand e-commerce landscapes in Indonesia. Who's winning? Who's not winning? Why they use Shopee? Why they use Tokopedia? How is the user profile of each e-commerce? Those kind of things is something that I'm working on in my current role as a consumer researcher at Shopee Indonesia. Okay, so thank you guys for participating. Next one, I want to tell briefly about advantages and disadvantages or challenges that e-commerce face currently. So first thing is definitely about the convenience and the variety of products that e-commerce offers to you. But also the challenges is that there are limited customer service and inability to touch products. The challenges, especially I would say in an area that is less touched by technology, the challenges still lies big there because there are still trust issue. However, already developed. Like for example, the west part of Indonesia is already quite developed, like in Jawa or Sumatra. But in the eastern area of Indonesia, it hasn't still touched much by the technology. One thing, of course, also because of the infrastructure, so that I think to convince users to use e-commerce is harder in those area. And some companies, e-commerce companies, and also government needs to work together on that, on how to convert those users to use e-commerce more. Okay. And so about the inability to touch products, actually people like me, researcher in an e-commerce company, or you said maybe tech startup companies, is one of our job is to understand about humans and consumers. So we do research about user behavior, user experiences, and some of the advanced e-commerce like this one, Amazon, they're already applying AR, augmented reality, so that users can experience more about their product. So I'm going to show you the videos here. Pictures in your space can be a challenge. Here the video looks like this. Let's just see how you look before you buy. So you can see.
I think the voice is not clear. It's not clear.
Voice is not clear.
The sound of the video is not clear.
And make sure they match your style and decor. And when you find out how things the way you want them, you can start planning for whatever comes next. So some advanced e-commerce companies already provide that experience so that users have better experience and to get better results of your purchase journey. So here I think e-commerce.
Excuse me, Mrs. Anissa. Can you? Your voice is not clear.
My voice is not clear.
Yeah.
Wait. I didn't moving. Hi. Can you hear me better now? No.
Mm-hmm. Stop share screen. Oh,
Can you hear me better now?
I think you can try to stop share screen and then reshare the screen again.
Guys, then share my screen again. Okay, now can you hear me better now? Still not.
Your voice is still distorted.
Still distorted.
Can you?
Let me try again.
Can you mute yourself and then unmute?
Okay, let me try. Can you hear me now? Better?
No.
No. Oh, what happened? I think because of the video.
Maybe you can try unplugging your headphone first and then plugging it again.
I didn't use my microphone. I didn't use earphone. I use my laptop microphone.
Is your phone nearby? I think.
Phone? I didn't use exactly my phone.
Maybe can you try speak once more?
Hi. Is it better?
Leave the meeting and then rejoin. We will wait. We will wait for you. Okay, participant, while we are waiting for Mrs. Anissa, you can send your question to me or to the other committee. Right now, you are joining the module 5, the application, fintech collaboration and application in commerce industry. Right now, it is module 5. Please remember the correct module because you will need it when you fill the attendance list.
Okay. Can you hear my voice?
Right.
Oh, okay. I think
it
it's
is clear
because
now.
I think it was because of the video. Yeah. I still have one
Yes.
video, but I think it's better not to play it. I think. I mean, like, fine, you can find it on the somewhere. Okay, I'll start screen share again. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So to participant, the attendance list will be open later, but I just remind you that you are now in module 5. Thank you. Now enjoy the presentation.
Okay, guys, sorry for the interruptions. Okay. Now, I previously said that e-commerce could make is one of the catalysts in economic growth. Why? Because e-commerce makes goods and services move fast, money move faster, so that it promotes economic growth. The economic or the GDP is measured by the amount of products or services that is produced within a period of time, let's say a year or on a quarterly basis or on a month, right? So the role of digital payment here is to make the money move faster, is to make users experience better. And so in a way, e-commerce industry is also promoting two things. The first is financial inclusions. The second is seamless users shopping experience. Yeah, okay. One of them is promoted because of the digital payments that is now currently growing. So maybe we can imagine maybe 5 years ago when digital payments is not much in the market. If you want to buy something, let's say maybe 5 years later, there are e-commerce such as Tokopedia or Bukalapak already there. But I remember not much of about the digital payments. So when you need to buy something, you need to go to the ATM. and buy and pay it using the ATM, or if you already a more tech savvy person, maybe you already have the internet banking, but not much about the e-wallet, right? So there are still there are still challenges 5 years ago compared to now, that now you can use almost maybe some of you use more than, if I'm not that's my guess when I see the behavior of users, who when I ask people what kind of brands that of e-wallet brands that they use. Okay, so yeah, in a way, e-commerce industry tries to promote financial inclusions because people who use e-wallet doesn't really need to experience the pain that they need to face when they need to open an account at the bank. Let's say you need to go to the bank, you need to fill the form, you need to wait at the customer service in order for the customers input your data, and so on and so forth. All you need to do when you have a e-wallet account is only to take your photo using KTP ID card, and then yeah, you already set with a new financial account that you can use for almost anyone, for almost anything. Okay, so when I first invited to talk about fintech and e-commerce, I realized that fintech is a really wide ecosystem, that it is a new tech. It's actually technology and financial, right? So it's been already in the world ever since maybe in the first 21st century. The term was initially applied to technology that employed at the back end systems of established financial institutions. But now there has been a shift to a more consumer-oriented services. So brands like maybe GoPay, Shopee, OVO, Genius, PayPal, they get the fintech identifications. But in fact, fintech itself is a very wide ecosystem. And I think since I more to consumer side of the industry, I will only touch base on the digital payments or e-wallets, account-to-account transfer that include cards. Okay. So yeah, I talked about financial inclusions previously. Financial inclusions, according to World Bank, means that individuals and businesses have access to useful and affordable financial products and services that meet their needs. It includes transactions, payments, savings, credit, and insurance delivered in a responsible and sustainable way. According to the facts, in 2017 by the World Bank, 1.7 billion people in the world are still unbanked. Okay, so it's close 1/3 to adults, and half of the 1.7, including women in poor rural households or people who are out of the workforce. So this cohort really still in an disadvantageous side, because they financial system cannot touch their lives. As you might already aware that financial system touch every aspects of our lives, the minute we wake up and the minute we sleep again, right? You need financial access to make, in order to make your life revolves. The unbanked access to financial services. So this is actually, I need to play the video, but in order to prevent same thing happen, I think I will just let you search the video later on. The video is about financial inclusions concepts by World Bank. Yeah, I think I will share it later, yeah, rather than I play it and then the same thing happen again. Okay, sorry, yeah. So this is data according to Google, Temasek and Bain and Company, that 400 million adults in Southeast Asia, 49% turns out are still unbanked. 198 million people are still unbanked. So there are three categories. The first is banked, underbanked, and unbanked. The banked are they are already have full access to financial services, bank accounts, credits, investment, and insurance. 98 million is still underbanked, which means they only have access to bank accounts, but no to credits, investment, and insurance, and the rest are still unbanked. They have no access to it. In Indonesia itself, 42 million banked, 47 million underbanked, and 92 million unbanked. So you can see that there are disadvantages to those who are unbanked and underbanked, right? So it means because they couldn't, let's say they want to open a new they want to open small shop, or just to maybe as simple as buying groceries from, let's say, from Shopee. So Shopee usually have a discount day, right? Like just several days we have 8 flash sale, those kind of things. For some people, they take this they take the opportunity of those flash sale event as an opportunity to buy something, for example buy groceries in a low price, and then they could sell it again. So this type of business is very, I'd say, very affordable for those who are underbanked or unbanked. And even they can use Shopee. We have a platform called Shopee Pay Later, in which in a way that it helps you, if you see it the right way to use it for your business, you can use it, right? Not as a mere for consumer loan, but if someone is smart enough, they will use the pay later system to, in a way, to get credits from the companies. So why does this cases of underbanked and unbanked in Southeast Asia still high? The first is because the cost of having financial access. Like for example, if you want to open a bank account in a bank, you need at least the last time I checked, I think I need at least 500,000 rupiahs, yeah, about like $50. So yeah, not every people social economic status have that much of money only to open a bank account, right? Those big amount of money they can use for any other purpose, like maybe, for example, paying educations for their children. But definitely, if it takes 500,000 rupiahs only to open a bank, I believe it is definitely not their choice, because they have another things that they need to take care about. The second one is the absence of public registers. So the registration system in Southeast Asia, especially in developing countries, is not that advanced as in the advanced countries. So those itself causing a problem, because maybe in some ways it means that the bank cannot recheck the background of those who applied for the to open a bank account, and so on. Identification system as well, and reliable credit information. And still from the regulation sector, banking is still a tightly regulated sector in Southeast Asia. There are so many layerings that you need to pass if you, let's say, want to apply for a credit, or simply if you want to open a bank account. Okay, so for the here, companies like e-commerce or financial technology companies opening new door and simplify the process, because like I previously mentioned, all you need to do to open an account in let's say e-wallet is just to take your photo using your ID card, and then once you are verified, you can use the access to do everything, like for example transferring, peer-to-peer transfer, or you can buy something, and once you get for example, maybe in Shopee Pay, I'll give example from Shopee Pay. If you're already verified and you are already fulfill the criteria of minimum purchase or minimum order, then you can apply for Shopee Pay Later feature. Shopee Pay Later enables you to borrow money from Shopee Pay, and then you need to pay the money back in several months ahead. So yeah, in a way, you can use the money to, if you don't have the capital to start your small business, you can use it actually, right? If you have the right mindset to do it, rather than only to rather than the consumerism. And also the fintech and companies like e-commerce, we have a fast our big data database. This where the role of business intelligence person like me and my other colleague comes at play, because we can provide many data that maybe government or the companies have the resources, the talent, the infrastructure needs to make the process is more seamless. Okay, there are several types of fintech companies according to Google. The first one is pure play fintechs, companies like Momo, Stashaway, Akulaku in Indonesia. These are companies that is focusing only in the only to in fintech. They pure play, their business is only about fintech. And the second one is consumer technology platforms like Gojek, Grab, Lazada, and C Group, where Shopee is actually belongs. So this consumer technology platforms is their main business is actually not the financial, but the consumer, like C Group, Shopee, where C Group has Shopee and Garena. As if you're a gamer, you must know what Garena is. Garena is one of the biggest game platform. I think Aulia plays games a lot, yeah, Aulia. Okay, and then so this type of companies focus more on the consumer and have financial technology as one of its business line. The third one is established consumer players such as telcos and retailers. These type of companies, for example, in Indonesia we have Telkomsel, who apparently has Link Aja, or I think XL actually has their own brand, their own fintech brand. These companies actually they already have strong infrastructure throughout the country. Like for example, Indonesia, Telkomsel with its fast infrastructure network, they can actually have the advantage over the other. But these established consumer players challenges usually lies in because they don't really have the talent that can unlock their data, unlock their infrastructure so that it can grow as big as it should be. The last one is as established financial services players such as banks, insurers, and other financial institutions. That is actually also as the type of fintech companies that we can find around us. So the next play, in order for fintech companies to win, is a share of consumers' mind, time, and wallet. So how to win? For example, one company wants to, let's say Akulaku. Let's say Akulaku wants to win this, and they need to understand their consumers. How do they actually think? How do they make financial decisions? What are their pain points in their daily life? How can Akulaku take the pain out of them and actually serve their consumers, and also their time and also their wallet? That's how, business wise, that's how actually the fintech companies will win. So e-commerce plays role in providing seamless financial access to. The example is from Shopee Pay. We encourage Shopee users to use Shopee Pay. How? By offering offline promotions, cashback at restaurants, at cafes, etc. But unfortunately, right now you cannot use it that much because of the pandemic. But maybe once the pandemic gone, you can definitely use our interesting promotions at offline merchants. Second one is offering free shipping vouchers. Like, who doesn't love gratis ongkir? When you buy something, if you use Shopee Pay, you can get free shipping vouchers, and it is on an interesting offer actually. So we are also enticing users to use by giving them more benefits. Also for the underbanked and unbanked audience, we actually already partnering with Indomaret and Alfamart as top-up places. So for those more in maybe in rural area who doesn't really get to know about banks, or it's not that easy to find ATMs nearby their area, they can just go to Indomaret and Alfamart and top up their Shopee Pay wallet. And also we already facilitate peer-to-peer transfers from my account to other Shopee Pay account. Yeah. So this forward-looking, according to data from Google, e-wallet itself, right now in 2019, the size of the consumer payments is 22 billion US dollar. And in 2025, in the next 6 years, it is predicted to grow five times bigger than current, to 114 billion. So the potential is enormous, and one of the countries that will reap benefit is the Southeast Asia, because Southeast Asia has a fast young citizens, and young citizens tend to have more open to technology, and so does, yes, the potential will still grow in the future. The potential is enormous, and yeah, I think, yeah, this is my last slides. I was asked to talk about a little bit about role of business intelligence in companies in general. So when we talk about business intelligence, there are two key things. The first one is business. The second one is intelligence. So BI team is we gather informations. Second is we turn it into insights, and the third one is we encouraging users to have a data-driven business decisions. The informations that we gather comes from various sources. For example, in my role as a consumer researcher, I do a lot of primary research targeting our users, targeting consumers. We want to understand how they use our product, how they use competitor products, how they think, how they decide, like what makes them buy, for example, buy pulsa at Tokopedia instead of at Shopee, or why they buy at us, why not at our competitors. Those kind of things, those are informations that is valuable, and then we turn it into insights. Also, my other colleague at BI team, they are focused more in understanding the big data. We understand how does actually our users order, how many orders that each of users make per day or per month. We turn it into insights, and then the goal is to make a data-driven business decisions within the companies. So if I was asked to give examples, maybe if, for example, if FAB UNS wants to serve students better, I think from my point of view, the UNS need to find research objectives, need to defining research objectives to understand, for example, whether infrastructure are already sufficient and which infrastructures need to be improved. Second one is if we already have our internal data, for example, we need to dig it and mapping it out. Students' data, faculty members' data, like how many students are actually come from outside Java, for example, how many students are within from Subo Sukowono Slaten, or like how many faculty members are already achieve PhD degree, or how many faculty members that are still not. Those informations is very valuable in order for us to make data-driven companies decisions. So yeah, from there, after digging internal data, maybe we can start with qualitative discussions. We need to pick several different groups of people to understand what are their pain points, what do they think that UNS can improve, and so on and so forth. Like, yeah, if necessary, we can validate the qualitative result using quantitative surveys, so we'll get numbers and we can prioritize what are the next steps. And maybe we can roll out student satisfaction survey. I think some of the universities abroad already roll it out. I've read it somewhere, but I forgot which universities. Like, yeah, they roll out student satisfaction survey at the end of every term to understand how faculty performs. Like, we can track it over the year, and then we can find ways to improve. Yeah, I think that's it from me. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Anissa, for your interesting presentation. Now we have some questions from the Zoom chat box. The first question is from Adib Indonesia. What is the big challenge in developing e-commerce product in Indonesia, and how to assure the product are complying with with any regulation?
Which how to ensure? Sorry, Aulia.
Okay. What is the big challenge in developing e-commerce? And then, how to assure that the product are complying with any regulation?
Does he mean e-commerce product or e-commerce brand? Because
I think
product,
e-commerce product.
E-commerce product. Okay, I'm not sure about what are the questions, but I think so. E-commerce have their own feature. For example, if you open one of feature that you have e-commerce, you have e-commerce app in your phone, you can open it and you will find there that, for example, Shopee has Shopee Pay or Shopee Games, Shopee Tanam, Shopee Candy, and so on and so forth. That is we call our products, our features. Or do you mean products like which FMCG brands, which brands that we need to engage? I'm not really sure about that, and I'm afraid it will confuse you later if I answer. Maybe you can detail the questions. What kind of products that you mean? Okay, I think I can answer it to it later once he reconfirm. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. To visit Adib, maybe if you want to more elaborate answer, you can detailing your question. What do you mean with the product in your question? And then next question from, wait a minute. Kaira Indonesia. Dear Mrs. Anissa, as a researcher in e-commerce, where do you usually find the external data and how do you process them? What kind of output that you usually produce for your company out of your research result?
Okay, thank you, Anita, for the questions. First, where do I find external data? There are actually many ways to find external data depending on your objectives. For example, if you want to find GDP data or population data or industrial data, like you can actually find in BPS. There are a lot of data you can find there in BPS. To be honest, I actually googling it. Like you just Google and you find what you need. Okay. The second one is if you want to get specific data about, let's say, Shopee users or Tokopedia users in regards to my role as a consumer researcher at Shopee, I will go to external research. So I will give them a research brief. This is the research objective is ABC. The people that we want to target is, for example, those who are aged between 18 to 45, who already use e-commerce previously, live in big cities and small cities, those kind of things. I give it to research agency, and then the research agency will recruit people, and we will ask them, depends on the objective that we want to meet. So I will need to build a set of questionnaires that address the objective. For example, the objective is we want to understand e-wallet landscape in Indonesia. So yeah, from there, I need to understand which users using OVO, which users who are using GoPay, Shopee Pay, and so on, and how many is their, for example, monthly usage, monthly, how many rupiah that they spend in a monthly on a monthly basis for paying certain things, maybe to buy pulsa or to buy food and beverage. Those kind of informations I need to lay out first in the beginning. I need to make the questionnaires, and I ask the research agency to find the people. That's the second way to get the external data. The third one is actually, other than BPS, you can actually look for from websites like Bloomberg, Statista, CEIC. Maybe if you're more to development economics, then the websites that is actually, the World Bank, actually they have also a vast amount of data. You only need to know, the only thing that you need to know is you need to know what you are looking for. It will ease your job. If you don't know what you're looking for, then the website is a mess place. To be honest, it's a very mess place. So you can find any data, especially in this era. And yeah, that's for the first question. The second question is about how do I process them? We do process it using Excel. To be honest, yeah, just simple Excel will help. Excel is a very, very powerful tool. If you were asked what kind of tools that you can learn while you're still in university, one of the things that you can learn is using Excel the right way. Because Excel is not only about sum, if, count, there are so many features that you can use. And sometimes I use SQL, structured query language, to get the data from our internal database, but not much. And some of my colleagues also use Python and R to count the numbers, but I don't usually use it. I mostly use Excel and SQL, and also something like SPSS, if you're familiar about it. Those are three tools of output that I usually produce. I usually produce simple Excel table or presentation deck. But the thing is, my job is to explain the data, not only providing the data. So once I provide the data, I need to be able to explain what the data tells you. It's not stop at this is the data, just read it. No, I didn't deliver those data to my stakeholders that way. The way I deliver it is, I produce the data and then I explain to stakeholders what does it mean. How does this data can be benefiting their current strategy? Yeah, those kind of things. Okay. Any questions? Any more questions?
Next question from Aldo Indonesia. Dear Miss Anissa, how the e-commerce maintain data privacy? As we know, data privacy is a huge issue. Recently, one of the biggest e-commerce faced this issue. How about your opinion? Thank you.
Okay. About e-commerce, about data protection, is actually not only people in the data ecosystems that have accountability to manage the data, but it is accountability of every person that works in a company to make sure the data is safe and secure. Like, let's say I'll say in Shopee there are only some data are not exposed to everyone. So the data is shared on a need to know basis. So only those who needs gets the data. Even if your friend, if he's not in that project, let's say, he will not get the data because it's not, you don't need to know, right? So yeah, in a need to know basis. And also I think if you ask from the engineering side, I think there are some things that to be honest, I'm not really familiar with how the engineering team kept the data, but I think if you happen to meet someone from the engineering data team, you can ask them how to protect the data. But I think, yeah, it's all the responsibility is on every part of the company, not only the data team itself. Okay, any questions
Okay.
again?
Any other participant who want to deliver your question directly to Mrs. Anissa? Please raise your hand. Otherwise, we will read another question submitted to the Zoom chat. No one? Okay, let's just read another question. From Kama, Indonesia. In your understanding, in terms of financial services such as lending, investment, and investment instrument, do fintech possess the equal potential risk compared to conventional bank? To ease the context of the wow, this is such a long question. I will read it again. In your understanding, in terms of financial services such as lending and investment instrument, do fintech possess the equal potential risk compared to conventional banks? To ease the context, you may propose the illustration from Shopee Pay case or any other Shopee financial service. You are muted.
Okay. I think first thing I need to clarify is what kind of risk, because risk is very wide. Maybe Gamma can clarify which risk that you mean. Otherwise, I answer it sporadically. I think, yeah, maybe Gamma, you can clarify it first, and then maybe I can able to get back to you.
Okay.
Any questions? I think I've seen many questions, yeah, from the group, from the chat. Okay.
Kama said, yes, it depends on your understanding. I think it's...
If that's the case, I think I'm not the best person to answer these questions, since I'm not heavily involved in the fintech sector of Shopee. Yeah, maybe I think I cannot answer that questions. Like, I'm really sorry, I'm not the best person to answer, so I better not me answering it. Sorry, Gama.
Okay. Maybe Gama, you can keep your question for the next instructor. And now we have one participant raising their hand.
Okay.
From Soro. Hello, Soro.
Soro, hello.
Soro. Are you with us?
Where are you?
Okay.
Hi.
Hello, Soro. You can deliver your question now.
Hi, Soro. Speaker still unmute, ya? Soro speaker is still muted.
Hello, Soro. You can now unmute yourself. Please unmute yourself before asking your question.
Is anyone? Excuse me, is anyone?
I can hear you. I can already hear you.
Excuse me, is anyone? It's a mistake.
It's a mistake?
It's a mistake.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay, no problem.
Okay. Now,
Which one? Which one to choose?
you can choose, maybe.
Okay. This is from Kairaya. Hello, Ms. Anissa. Thank you for the materials. Can you explain a bit more about the usage of AI in customer research and in helping customers make decisions? The use of AI. To be honest, my job currently is still not touching those areas. AI means predictions is also part of the AI. But yeah, my job currently is still not touching the area. Maybe in the near future, if we're be able to expand our research team, we can do that. But I think if you want to know more about it, you can just Google and browse it. I think companies like Google's or like Amazon's, they already have a high functioning research team and and BI team who already make, I don't know, maybe very sophisticated AI in order to make decisions. But things like maybe you want to predict whether someone will buy something in the next 1 month. Maybe you can actually do that. But yeah, currently my job is not touching this area. But the possibilities are endless, I'd say. Okay. Next thing, I think, Abel.
Next question. Okay.
Abel, Indonesia, how do you determine the sample in a lot of populations? You can use, if you Google, if you can just Google sample calculator. Let's say you will find a calculator that you only need to put populations number. Let's say in Indonesia there are 265 million of people, and you can manage your how many is your margin error you want to get and confidence level that you want to achieve, and then you click enter, and then the sample will just come at the bottom of it. But if you are very keen to learn, you can learn it from the statistics class that UNS give to you actually. Yeah, so that's how there are if you pay attention to one of your statistics class or one of your research methodology class, there are actually formula to determine that. But to simplify, you can use the sample calculator that is publicly available. If you just Google it, just Google sample calculator, you will quite many options will appear. Okay.
Maybe one more question, last question.
Okay, one last questions. Which one, yeah?
Yes.
Maybe Aulia can pick one for me.
Okay. So this is question from Syahita Indonesia. Hello, Miss Anissa. Thanks for the material. Does a specific analysis, such as a geographical information system, as we know that the region or geographical condition also affect. For example, the area in Java will have more users than that will affect the analysis.
Geographical information system. Shopee, yeah. According to Shopee Pay, I think not only Shopee Pay sih, should be every company who has users data will do this, I bet, yeah. But to be honest, for the Shopee Pay itself, I don't know whether the Shopee Pay team has done this or not. Maybe if you want to know, you can apply as our BI team to learn more about it. But yeah, for now, I cannot give you exact answers on that. But I bet, yeah, I think for every companies who has the users data will use the data because it will help them to grow. Yeah. I think that's it. Yeah. Anything else?
I think that should be the last question. Yes, we have many questions, but unfortunately, we already passed the maximum time for this session.
Okay. Oh, maybe Aulia, if it's possible, can you keep the questions and then I will answer it using email. I will just email or anything, or WhatsApp or anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for your presentation, Mrs. Anissa, and for all participants. The attendance list is now open. Now you can fill the attendance list using your student ID And please choose the module you are participating now. It is now module 5. And we will see you again at 2 p.m. Western Indonesian time. It is around 1.5 hours later. You can choose to deactivate your camera and do your activity. Maybe you can rest for a little bit and come back later, or you can just leave the meeting and then you can come back later and we will admit you again. So thank you once more again to Mrs. Anissa Jumaniar for your time and presentation. We are very happy to have you today.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having
And thank
me.
you for all the
Thank you.
Thank you for all the participants for participating in this session. So see you